She inherited millions and threw away the only man who ever loved her for real. 5 years later, broke and desperate, she found 300 missed calls to a dead number. Her fortune, his disappearance, her regret, his revenge, the comeback she never saw coming. What's up, you guys? Seriously, grab something to drink, maybe a snack. Because this story is long, it's messy, and by the end you're either gonna be yelling at your screen or nodding like, yep, been there. My name's irrelevant. Just call me the dude who disappeared. Let's jump in. 5.5 years ago, I'm standing in our little kitchen in the suburbs, flipping pancakes on a random rainy Wednesday. Normal morning. My wife, let's call her Lauren, is still in her robe, hair in a messy bun, scrolling her phone. Phone rings. She picks up, hits speaker without thinking. Her aunt's voice cracks through the speaker. Honey, sit down. Grandma passed last night. And she left you everything. The houses, the investments, the accounts, all of it. I freeze with the spatula midair. Lauren's eyes go wide. She doesn't cry, she doesn't scream. She just whispers, everything? Aunt says, yeah, north of 8 figures after taxes. Life-altering, never have to work again money. I set the spatula down, walk over, wrap my arms around her from behind and squeeze her shoulder. I'm thinking, man, this sucks about Grandma, but at least she's taken care of forever. I was legit happy for her. She hangs up, turns around slow, and the look on her face. Guys, I'll never forget it. It wasn't grief. It wasn't relief. It was hungry. She stares out the window at the rain pouring down and says, real soft, you know what this means, right? I smile like an idiot and go, yeah, babe, you never have to stress about money again. We're good. She turns, locks eyes with me and says, no, it means I don't have to settle anymore. Settle. That one word hit me like a brick. We'd been together 11 years, married 8. I had a solid middle management IT job, 6 figures, good benefits, 401k on track. We owned a nice 4-bedroom, took 2 vacations a year, ate out whenever, had brand new cars in the driveway. By every metric I knew, we were doing better than 90% of people our age. But apparently to her, that whole life was settling. The next few weeks were this slow-motion train wreck I didn't even see coming. She started with tiny comments, standing in our living room, running her fingers across the sectional we picked out together 3 years earlier. God, these couches are so basic. Or scrolling Netflix. We can finally get every streaming service now. No more choosing. Like every choice we'd ever made together was a sacrifice she'd been forced to endure. Then came the dinner with our oldest friends, Mark and Jessica. Small circle, we'd known them since college. Conversation drifts to the inheritance, impossible to keep that secret. Jess says, that's gotta feel like winning the lottery. Total freedom. Lauren does this tight little smile, swirls her wine, and goes, freedom is exactly the word. When you're not tied to someone else's paycheck anymore, you suddenly see everything super clear. What was actual love and what was just convenience. She looked straight at me when she said, convenience. The table went so quiet you could hear the ice melting in our glasses. Mark coughed. Jess stared at her plate. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. I excused myself to the bathroom because if I opened my mouth right then, I was gone say something that ended friendships. When I came back, they'd moved on to talking about somebody's new dog, but the damage was done. She'd just announced to people who watched us get married that our entire relationship had been her making do, until the upgrade arrived. That night I laid in bed staring at the ceiling fan spinning, replaying every memory. The girl who used to brag to her coworkers about how I worked overtime so we could afford that cruise. The same woman who told me I made her feel safe and taken care of. All that, just convenience? I felt like the world's biggest idiot. 3 weeks later, the wire hit. I'm at work when I get the text. A selfie of her in the driveway next to a brand new BMW M4 convertible. Candy apple red, bow on the hood like she's on a damn YouTube unboxing. Caption: say hello to freedom. I get home that night and the foyer looks like Saks Fifth Avenue exploded. Bags on bags on bags, Gucci, Prada, Louis stuff with price tags still dangling that made me choke on air. One pair of shoes cost more than my first car. She's spinning in the living room in a new dress, grinning ear to ear. I go, babe, how much did all this cost? She laughs this new sharp laugh I never heard before and says, don't, do the budget voice. I can afford it now. I wasn't even mad about the money. I was trying to understand who this person was. That night she's modeling outfit after outfit, asking, how do I look? I kept saying the same thing. You look gorgeous. You always have. Every time the smile fell off her face a little more. Because that wasn't the answer she wanted. She wanted me to worship the price tag, not the woman I'd loved since we were broke college kids sharing one car. Within 30 days, our house didn't even look like ours anymore. Interior designer shows up some guy named Tristan with a man bun and a $400 t-shirt. New marble counters, new furniture, art on the walls that cost more than my annual salary and looked like a toddler finger-painted it. I'd walk in from work and strangers would be drilling holes in my walls while Lauren sipped rose and pointed like she's directing a movie. The dinner parties started. Not cookouts with our friends, nope. Catered 5-course meals for people whose names I didn't know, all because they summer in the Hamptons or whatever. I'd get home and she'd go, "Oh, perfect, you're here." Shower fast the Vanderbilts. No relation are coming at 7. One night, some hedge fund dude in a Tom Ford suit asks what I do. Before I can answer, she jumps in, "Oh, he has one of those stable government contractor jobs. Super reliable. Reliable. Like a used Camry." Later, she corners me in the kitchen. "You were so quiet tonight." These people are connections. I ask, connections for what? I already had a job I liked, a retirement plan, paid vacation. She rolled her eyes like I was too dumb to get it. The final dagger was a Saturday morning in November. I'm in sweatpants making coffee, looking forward to watching college football and doing absolutely nothing. She struts in wearing heels and a blazer like she's about to close a merger. Announces she's doing charity board brunch at the country club. I didn't even know we belonged to a country club. She looks me up and down, old college t-shirt, bed head and size. This, coffee and sweatpants on a Saturday. This is why I felt stuck. I set my mug down so hard coffee sloshed over the rim. "What's wrong with coffee on Saturday morning?" She gave me the most condescending smile I've ever seen. "Nothing. If you're okay never wanting more." That was the exact moment I knew our marriage was already dead. She just hadn't served the papers yet. Tuesday night I walk in and she's sitting on the couch. Legs crossed, glass of wine, manila folder on the coffee table like a prop from a movie. I knew what it was before she opened her mouth. "We need to talk about what we both want moving forward," she starts, all calm and professional. "And I think we want very different things now. I think we should divorce." Just like that. No tears. "No, I'm sorry. Just a statement of fact." I think she expected me to fall apart, beg, cry, promise I'd change, offer to quit my basic job and become whatever fantasy she had in her head. Instead, I just said, "Okay." She blinked twice like her script got ripped up. "I've already talked to a lawyer," she continues, sliding the folder across. "It's clean. I keep 4. Keep the house, obviously, the inheritance is separate property. You'll get your fair half of everything else. My signature's already on everything." She even had a pen waiting like we're closing on a timeshare. I flipped to the last page, picked up the pen, and signed every line without reading a single word. No lawyer, no counteroffer. No, can we try counseling? Her eyes got huge. I think that scared her more than if I'd screamed. "That's it?" she asked. "Yep." I stood up, grabbed my jacket, walked out the door. She ran after me yelling, "Where are you going?" I didn't turn around. Doesn't matter. I checked into a hotel downtown that night and started making calls, not to friends, not to family. I called corporate relocation firms. "How fast can you get me to another state with a 10 to 20% raise?" 2 weeks later, I had 3 offers. Took the one in Minneapolis, 17% bump, full relocation, start in 10 days. I went back to the house exactly once, on a day I knew she'd be at her weekly spa appointment. Packed 2 suitcases and a couple boxes. Left every wedding photo, every piece of furniture we bought together, every coffee mug with our initials. Left my wedding ring on the counter next to her $10,000 espresso machine. No note. 2 weeks after signing the papers, I was watching a moving truck pull away from a brand new apartment, 1,500 miles away. New phone number the day I landed. New socials with a slightly different username. New gym membership. New everything. I didn't ghost her to be petty. I ghosted her because I was done being plan B. Word trickled back through old friends. She threw a massive new chapter party. The same weekend I left, catered, open bar, professional DJ, ice sculptures, the whole 9. Apparently she kept checking the door every 5 minutes waiting for me to burst in drunk and beg her to take me back. I was across the country eating cold pizza on the floor of an empty apartment trying to assemble a bed frame with an Allen wrench. Friends said she spent the whole night telling everyone how free she finally felt, how she was finally living the life she deserved, but she also kept asking if anyone had heard from me. Got mad when the answer was always no. The calls to my old number started Sunday morning. First ones were angry, "Where the hell are you?" By Wednesday, they were confused, "Can we just talk?" By the next week, they were panicked. "Please just let me know you're okay." When the number finally got disconnected, she started showing up places, our old gym, our favorite diner, even drove to my old office. Found my desk already occupied by some 24-year-old new hire. 2 weeks of radio silence and she hired her first private investigator. Report came back, subject has professionally vanished. New employment, new address, new phone, new vehicle. Recommend client accept closure. She didn't accept closure. Meanwhile, I'm in Minneapolis killing it. New city, new friends who only know the upgraded version of me. Weekend hiking trips, cooking classes, trivia nights, actual life. I stopped looking over my shoulder. Stopped wondering if she missed me. Stopped caring. 3 years fly by. Promotions, raises, bought a little cabin up north, started dating again, real dating, not who pays the bills dating. Then one random Tuesday, my work phone rings. Guy with a thick Chicago accent. "You the ex-husband of Lauren, last name?" Turns out she'd been actively hunting me for 2 years straight. Hired a second, better pie because the first one quit. He drops the nuke. "She pulled the phone records for your old number. There's 312 missed calls from her in 5 years. That's more than one a week to a line that's been dead since 2019. 312 times she dialed a ghost." The pie laid the whole disaster out like a crime scene report. After I left, the spending went into overdrive. BMW became Mercedes, became Porsche, became, why don't I have a Range Rover and a Porsche? 2 European trips a year. Private villas. Designer wardrobe that needed its own closet edition. Jewelry that could have paid off our friends' mortgages. She redecorated the house 3 separate times in 4 years, different designer each time because the vibe wasn't right. Threw parties every other weekend, catered, themed, Instagram-worthy. Tried to buy her way into the right social circle. When the inheritance started running low, she took out $1 million home equity loan to bridge the gap. Figured she'd flip the house or something later. No job. No income. Just denial and Amex Black. You can guess the rest. Payments missed, gives foreclosure, gives bankruptcy, gives house sold at auction for less than the loan balance. At 38 years old, she moved back into her parents' basement with 2 suitcases and a minimum wage retail job folding jeans at Macy's. The same woman who called our middle-class life mediocre was now making $14.50 an hour and taking the bus. The pie said she wasn't asking for money. She swore up and down that wasn't why she wanted to find me. She just wanted 5 minutes to apologize. Said seeing those 312 missed calls broke something in her. She booked a cheap flight to Minneapolis either way. Planned to camp out at the coffee shop I go to every Saturday morning, the one on Grand Avenue. She somehow found on my new Instagram. Yeah, she'd been creeping hard. Friday afternoon, I walked past just to see if she'd actually show. She was there, corner booth, cheap coat. Hair in a ponytail that looked like it hadn't seen a salon in years. Kept checking the door every 10 seconds. I stood across the street for 15 minutes, hands in my pockets, watching the woman who once told me I wasn't enough weight for a man who no longer existed. I didn't go in. Saturday morning, I'm in sweatpants again. Funny how that comes full circle, making coffee in the house I own outright. Waiting for my girlfriend to get back from her run. Doorbell rings. Peephole. Lauren. Up close she looks 10 years older. No makeup, eyes puffy, wearing the same coat from the cafe. I open the door but keep the chain on. She starts talking before I say a word. Voice cracking. "I know you don't want to see me. The investigator gave me your address. I had to try one last time. 5 years I've been trying to say I'm sorry. I don't move. Don't invite her in. Just listen, she's crying now. I lost everything. The money, the house, every single person I thought was a friend. I'm 38, working retail and living in my childhood bedroom with my old Backstreet Boys posters still on the wall. And every single night I think about how I threw away the one person who actually loved me for me. Then the big one. I never stopped loving you. I just got blinded by what I thought I deserved. Can we try again? I'm different now. I look at her, really look and feel absolutely nothing. Not hate, not pity, just peace. I believe you learned something, I say. But I learned something too. I'm not the backup plan for when the money disappears. I'm happy, actually happy for the first time in years. And there's no seat for you at this table. Right on cue, my girlfriend's car pulls into the driveway. Lauren sees her, face crumples. Please. You need to leave, I say, calm but firm. And you need to never come back. She whispers through tears. I hope someday you can forgive me. I already did, I tell her. Forgiveness doesn't mean I owe you a second chance. She walks away sobbing, gets into a dented Uber, and disappears. I close the door, pour 2 cups of coffee, and wait for the woman who chooses me every single day, not just when the bank account hits 0. That's the story, guys. She got the fortune. I got my freedom. Turns out freedom was the bigger jackpot all along. If you've ever been made to feel like you weren't enough, walk. Don't wait for them to figure it out when the money's gone. Build your own life. The right people will fight to be part of it. Drop a like if this one hit home. Comment your own stories below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.